Happy Friday to you guys. Welcome to the live stream today. Come on, it's the last one of 2023. And I'm so glad that you're hopping on the live stream today. Wherever you're joining us from, let me know in the chat, how has your 2023 been? Give yourself a grade for your ministry and your experience this last year. Has it been an A+ year? Are you looking forward to maybe starting fresh in 2024? Man, 2023 there's been a lot that has happened in the last year, and I'm excited just to end the year here with you guys live streaming. We're going to do some live stream reviews for those of you that have submitted in the Google form that's in the description of this video. There is also a link for you to be able to join live and be able to review your live stream together. I've got Will Robbins in the on deck circle, so to speak. He's already there waiting and has submitted his stuff, so we'll jump into that in just a minute. Let me know, you guys have a good Christmas, everybody doing well. Did you have a white Christmas wherever you were at? For us, it was amazing. Like, I have 3 kids, and we just got to go all the places and see all the people, and it really was a great year. We had amazing Christmas services. It was our largest attendance ever for our Christmas Spectacular. We do it a little different at Central because we do our giant thing actually earlier in December. So like ours was December 9th, I think, was that Saturday. And we had 3 different services, and there was close to 1,000 people at them. And it was amazing. We had a great time, had the snow machines and all the different stuff going on. So it was a big shindig. You can always check out that stuff over on our church's channel. I think I did post a short on my Instagram of a little clip of ours. But we build this whole Christmas town thing in our lobbies, and we have Santa and tons of games for the kids, and it was just a blast. And I know a lot of you guys maybe have to have like Christmas Eve, you have like 19 services, and I'm so thankful that I'm not at a church where that is our model. Currently, we have a very simple Christmas Eve service, and it was beautiful too. There was 300 or 400 people at it, and it was great. It was beautiful. But I hope that you had a great holiday. But more than that, I hope that you had a great 2023. So what I'd love for you to do is type one good thing in the chat. Let's give God some praise in the live stream today. What is one way that you saw God work, or just something you're celebrating as you look back over the last year that has happened in your ministry or in your personal life as well? It's always good just to pause and reflect, because if you're like me, life goes so quickly that you're like, wow, a lot happened in the last year. So let's see who is jumping in the chat. And just so you guys know, if I fumble around a little bit today, I'm actually using a new software that I'm trying out. So this is all web-based. It's called EVMux. It's kind of like Restream or StreamYard or any of those. So it's a little different. FamTV says, Ballin' countdown today, Ryland. Yeah, somebody else asked what music that was. That was just a 5-minute countdown I downloaded real quick off Igniter. So I have no clue what music that was. It was kind of 8-bit sounding, right? But it was fun. Sample Stuff says, Merry post-Christmas, the true holiday for all of us production people. Very, very true. FamTV says they give it an A+, but there's always upgrades to be done. Very true. Charles, kids had the flu over Christmas and then gave it to me. Dude, there are a ton of people sick right now. I've got lots of friends that are just battling sickness. Isaac says, no snow here in Ohio. It actually just rained all weekend. Yeah, it's been kind of spitting snow a little bit here the last couple days. Not really, just barely. Isaac says, great services though. Most attended service ever. Hey, praise the Lord. That is amazing. Let's see. Just scrolling through some of these. Bobby says, families we've been praying for years came to Jesus. Come on, let's go. That's awesome. That's always kind of the goal of our service as well, is like getting the de-churched and the unchurched to step foot in our doors for the first time or the first time in a long time, right? And our services on our Christmas Spectacular are really designed to put them at ease, but then really hit home what the true message of the gospel is. And we didn't have any professions of faith that we saw in the moment, but we heard tons of stories just similar to that, as far as like people that haven't been in church in a long time coming for the first time. So that is really cool. Okay, you guys are doing great, it looks like. So I give my year 2023 an A. Like you said, there's always room for improvement, but I think back to all that, some prayers that I've prayed over the years of just opportunities and God really blessing those things I just didn't see coming. Like for instance, getting to lead worship at Falls Creek, Oklahoma this summer for 6,000 kids. That was an amazing experience. That I grew up going to that camp and really had kind of given up on that dream, so to speak. But just out of the blue, God brought that into my lap, and I got to hang out with some cool new friends and some old friends too, and lead worship together, and that was an awesome experience. just the YouTube channel in general. Like, God has blessed it, and been able to meet so many of you new friends, and just see like how God can use what I'm doing here in little Owasso, Oklahoma, to somehow impact people all around the world, really, the global church. And so that's been pretty cool. And then getting to speak at the Churchfront Conference in Colorado a couple of months ago, that was a pretty fun experience. So who knows what all's on the docket for 2024. I've got some plans, but you know what? We tell God our plans and he probably laughs at us. So Isaac says, timecode automation for the entire service with Pro 7 Light Key and Wing all went off without a hitch. Wow. I am very interested. I didn't do it this year. We still send all of our MIDI cues from ProPresenter over to Jans Vista, but I am interested in like the time code syncing between the two for bigger events like that. Maybe this Easter I'll look into really honing that in. So that's cool that it all worked. But you did all three together: Pro 7, Light Key, and your Wing. Were you automating like volume changes or scene changes with the MIDI? Or were you doing maybe auto tuning key changes automatically? I'm interested to hear how you use that, Isaac. That's pretty cool. Before we jump into our live stream review with Will, I thought it would be really fun just to quickly look back at some tech that's come out over the last month or two. Let's see if I can get this to work here. All right, so did you guys hear about Multitracks' new Playback remote that they've come out with? It's an intriguing new addition that they've added to Playback. And I don't know, I don't use Playback. We do everything through ProPresenter, bounce down MP3s. But Playback is getting so powerful that it's getting really intriguing. The idea here is like you have your session running one place, and then built into Playback, you could have your drummer, your keys player, your sound guy, even your guy leading worship remotely controlling the session. And it's better than like a remote Apple login to a computer. It's more fluid than that. So have any of you guys tried that yet? It's kind of interesting, right? That was a fun thing that's come out. And then LoopCommunity also came out with a new feature. So do you use Prime? Do you use Multitracks? What do you use to run your tracks?
Hey community,
because LoopCommunity came out with
then you can download the
chord chart
PDF
integration
as many times as you'd like. You can also use any chart that you get from LoopCommunity.
And so they're trying to
Music Stand app.
You know,
Music Stand is the
come up against
way
the
to run
Chord Player Pro or whatever,
team.
Chord Chart Pro
Music
of
Stand
Multitracks.
allows each musician to easily take notes.
We still use like Planning Center Music Stand, so
and now with
they're trying to kind of up their game a little bit. LoopCommunity looks pretty good still too. So there's the great thing I feel like nowadays is like there's so many options out there that you really have no excuse for doing things with excellence, for not doing things with excellence. And so LoopCommunity's up in their game. I also saw that Planning Center added a new feature, it may have been 2 months ago, the auto reporting for CCLI. Have any of you started doing that? That is going to make a lot of people's lives easier, not having to go in and put in your songs every time. And really, it's just better all around for the musicians and everybody. So are any of those features interesting to you guys? Is there anything you're really hoping to implement in 2024? Okay, Isaac says remote was great for the moment changes on Christmas. A couple of something channels came in a bit hot in during the service, and front of house had remote set up to make quick updates. Interesting. Okay. And I just realized that my Echo that's tied to my house is on, and you're going to hear all the announcements from my wife. So I'm going to go unplug that really quickly. Hold, please. And we're back. Let's see. Did I miss anything important? Okay, Bobby says they've been using Playback and it's amazing for us. Yeah, we used Playback at camp and it was great. We used it kind of in hybrid with Ableton a little bit. So, hey, looky here. Come on. Appreciate you, brother. Merry Christmas. Give our Christmas stream a look. Rivers Crossing. Trying to fight slow glass on a shallow stage for how big we are. Overall, we've brought our stream a long way. Thanks. Awesome. Yeah, Rivers Crossing. I'll check you guys out. And so I think that's a good segue. So why don't we jump into a little live stream review. If you guys will just give me just a second to set this up, and then we'll jump right into it. So hold, please. All right, everybody, let's welcome Will Robbins to the channel. Will, how's it going?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Doing really, really well. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you located and everything?
So we are located just east of Indianapolis, Indiana. We're technically a Greenfield church, but we're closer to about 6 other towns. But yeah, we're just east of Indy.
Okay, cool. And what do you do there? Are you on staff full time or?
Yep, I'm the full-time production director. So I oversee all the AVL stuff. I oversee all of the technical back-end stuff for the entire system, and then I oversee the teams for lighting, audio, ProPresenter, basically anything besides video. We've got a full-time videographer that handles all of the team stuff and whatnot for the weekend services and creative video stuff. So,
wow.
but then I oversee all the technical side of the thing. He's not a technical guy, so I oversee all the workings, and he handles the team stuff for the video side and the creative video stuff. And then I oversee everybody else as far as lighting, audio, and ProPresenter and service producer stuff goes. So, yeah.
How large is your church?
That is a great question. We for Christmas Eve services, we had 3,900 people over 5 services. A normal weekend, we've been, I think, hitting, I'm so bad at numbers, I don't ever look at that stuff, probably between 2,000 and 3,000 on a given weekend. I got on staff about a year, almost 2 years ago now. In March will be 2 years. And then I got on staff a week before our building that we're currently in opened. So, and we've just seen like a lot of massive growth since then. Before that, we were running 900 people, three services, and a 300-seat auditorium. So we were kind of busting at the seams, and now we're kind of busting at the seams in the spot place we're in. So that's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So tell us a little bit about your gear. I know you submitted some in the form, but just for everybody watching, talk to us about cameras mainly to start with, maybe.
Yeah. So we, our building got renovated, or we moved into a new building. Basically, the only thing we didn't upgrade is our physical cameras. Everything else on the control side and the infrastructure got upgraded. So we've got 3 JVC, I don't remember the model numbers, but they're camcorders. They're fine for what they are. They don't do super great in low light. And then we have one that is having some color shift stuff because the sensor's old and whatnot. And then we've got 2 Marshall POV cams on our keys and drums. And then we've got one GH5 on a slider at the front of house. And then we've got a handheld FX6. So yeah, we got a little bit of everything just about. But
yeah, so you're mixing them together, a few different brands there. In the future, are you leaning one way or the other? Are you going to like just scratch everything and just build a new system, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, we would love to get some sort of cinema, probably camera, like either a C300 or maybe all FX6s. The videographer we have on staff is a Sony guy. We're just trying to figure that out. Like I said, it's basically the only thing that didn't get upgraded with the new building upgrade, and now we're kind of feeling the squeeze with that. So we don't know what we're going to go with yet. We've had a couple. I brought in a Blackmagic Ursa Broadcast G2, and then some C300s and a C70. But yeah, we're just trying to figure out what the best bang for buck and long term kind of use is, and there's a lot of moving pieces with stuff like that, as you well know.
Okay, you got to tell me about these drums that look like stick yard drums, but have like snowflakes and stuff in them. Are they just for effect? Or are they actually using them for sound?
A little of both. So what those are, I don't remember the exact model. Those are actual drums that we got from Sweetwater. Luckily, we were just literally down the road from Sweetwater, so that's really convenient. So they're, I guess, basically a wooden frame with like an actual drum head over the front of them, and then we put a vinyl graphic over them to make them look like a snowflake. And what they're actually on is literally a rolling TV stand on each side that we had one of our volunteers build. So we just hit them with backlight, so that kind of made them look like they glowed. And we basically took this idea from Church of the Highlands, did this back in like 2016. And then they had, they've got a full, chain hoist motor system. So they literally had this big old thing that looked like a big snowflake come down from the ceiling. And we're like, well, what can we do that doesn't cost an arm and a leg and a bunch of rigging and whatnot? So that's kind of what we landed on.
Well, it looks great, man.
Yeah.
Tell us are those LED wall panels behind? What's going on there?
Yeah, so all of that is LED wall panels. So we've got a main 16:9 section in the center, and then we've got 4 sections of smaller panels on the side. Basically, all of that was all put together as in one big unit, one big panel when the building opened, and then right before Easter last year, I and the team broke it apart. So basically to make it bigger, because it only really covered the first or the middle third of the stage. So without, again, spending a bunch of money, I was trying to figure out what the best like bang for buck and, you know, stuff what basically use what we had and then have to spend a bunch of money kind of thing.
Do you know what kind of panels they are for the LED wall?
Yep, they are Vanguard Rhodium P4. So they're they're 4 millimeter pixel pitch, which are I don't know if you can tell, but our stage is only about, I want to say 18 feet deep, which, you know, for some churches that's really big, but for the kind of the scope of stuff we're doing, it's we're definitely, especially with the LED wall, fighting against moray and a lot of things with that, just because of viewing angles and whatnot. But we kind of have to make do with what we have, kind of thing. So we have to be very intentional about what backgrounds, how we use the LED wall, so that way it's not just making everything go haywire and whatnot. So
yeah, absolutely. What about the electronic drums? Can you talk to us about that?
I knew that was going to come up. So I want to say our worship leader is a drummer by trade. So it's one of those things where been part of the culture for so long now. And again, our stage is so shallow, like putting acoustic drums in there without some sort of partial kick at least would be really difficult and whatnot. So it's a Roland, I don't remember the model number. It's a very popular one, but we're kind of happy with it. That leads me kind of to the audio side of things. So we've got Waves LV1 at front of house. So we're doing a bunch of stuff to kind of make it fit for what the, you know, style of music we're going for and whatnot. So
are you using Waves, any like VST plugins using the MIDI out of the brain of the TD20 or whatever it is?
It's the TD 40 or whatever it is.
Okay.
No, so everything's we've got direct outs for every single symbol and channel and whatnot, and then we're just processing that. We've thought about doing like slate, drum stuff through main stage or whatnot, but we haven't got around to it. It's been, again, with a lot of this stuff is, there's a lot of money and, logistics involved and whatnot. So I think our end goal is to do a hybrid setup with either acoustic cymbals and then a full drum set that has like mesh heads with triggers, but we haven't landed on anything yet. But that's kind of in the new year, what we're going to look at as far as what we're going to land with. But yeah.
Interesting. So what's like the big goal for 2024 for you guys? Because honestly, I'm watching your live stream and it looks pretty stellar. Like, are these all volunteers? Sorry, too many questions. What's the big goal for 2024?
Yeah, that is a great question. Honestly, we've played around with a lot of solutions for a new video camera system, and we haven't landed on anything yet. So having a plan for that is really going to be a good thing. It's going to be a thing where we're just going to have a plan, and when funds are available, we can run with it. And then from the team side of things I got on staff about 1.5 years ago, almost 2 years ago now. And it's the first time I've been in this role. So there's been a lot of things that I've learned. And now I think, especially with everything and the state of everything, just like keeping track of everything, like I need to do a lot of spring cleaning with a lot of technical cable stuff on the stage side, but also a lot of the stuff with the team as far as development and growth and, where people want to go and how to get there and whatnot. So, yeah.
Yeah. What about like encoding your live stream and sending this out? How are you doing that?
That's another thing. I've got a long list of stuff that I would love to tweak and look at, but we're currently using Resi, and I love Resi. I just have not been a super big fan of Resi after their acquisition by PushPay. There's just been a lot of random issues I've had that are not explainable on their end and not been bad, but it hasn't been super great, especially for as much money as I know what we're paying them. So I would love to look at getting Boxcast, just because we're not doing multi-site, and I don't think we'll be doing multi-site in the near future kind of thing. So Resi is super great. I don't have anything really bad to say about them, but it's, we're paying a lot of money annually to them. So we're looking at potentially getting Boxcast down the road.
Yeah, and Boxcast has just come out with their new, I don't know if it's out yet, but there's some kind of new
their new encoder. Yeah, that's what I was also struggling with. They had two other encoders, and one was like really cheap and really great, and then the other one seemed like a higher price point. Now they've kind of have one in the middle, which is awesome. And one nice thing about Boxcast is they didn't, I don't think, used to be a super church centered company. Like obviously they did a lot of church stuff, and now they're very much unapologetically church focused, which is super great. And I kind of think Resi to an extent has gone the other way almost, not in a bad way, but like that Resi's trying to just have a broader reach of stuff, just because Resi I think started as a church centered company, and obviously there's a lot of media stuff happening now. So yeah.
Now, are you guys doing iMag in a room that you can hold that many people? Because I'm not seeing it.
Yeah. So we are.
Oh,
we
I
are
see it
doing
over there on the side.
Yeah. We are doing iMag. We try to be very intentional about not having video feedback in certain scenarios. It's like unavoidable, obviously, but yeah. So we've got a flat room. It's definitely wider than it is deep. So we have some sight line limitations. So yeah, we run iMag for 98% of everything we do.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, I'm just watching your multi-view here. The only things that I would probably try to adjust with your existing stuff is I love all the movement in your other cameras, but it's just when you go to this drum cam and you go to that piano cam, they're just a little stale to me. A little dark,
I would agree.
Little stale. If you could throw a slider on them or something, maybe that might help.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. We've also thought about putting some like practical lights over by the drums and the keys, just to give some more light and just to make it a little more interesting. I don't know if you'll see it in this shot or not, but our mobile cam will have been getting the drums and the keys players more, just because it's a way better. That's the static cameras are Marshalls, and then the mobile cam we have is FX6. So that's kind of like the opposite end of as far as sensor size and everything else.
Right. So. Well, let's listen to it for just a minute and see what is this the broadcast feed that we're going to hear?
Yep.
Because I want to hear drums. Or maybe we'll go back to your drummer song. Nice. Hey, crowd mics sound great.
Well, Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah, Merry
That's
Christmas.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So tell me about your audience mics, because I could hear them and they sounded good.
Yeah. So as far as audio stuff goes, our broadcast mix is driven off of our front of house mix by our groups into a matrix, and then that adds a lot of processing and whatnot. And the crowd mics are not in honestly a super great place. They're literally really cheap. I think Samson pencil condensers, small diaphragm condensers on the edge of the stage, and then I've got them side chained to our PA mix. So when the PA is kicking, it will turn them down essentially, and when they're not kicking for clapping moments, then it will bring it back up. And then I also have it, we're doing a lot of random stuff just to make it easy. So like when we turn on our playback for like walk in, walk out, it'll automatically mute the crowd mic. So that way for, praying and altar time and whatnot, we're not getting someone to stand directly in front of it and, have a hot mic scenario. But yeah, it's definitely can be over, it can be a lot sometimes as far as the crowd mics go. Like we had a video before that, and I could tell that it was a dialogue thing. I can tell the dialogue was a little more sibilant because of the crowd mics, because of the processing that we're doing. But yeah,
interesting that you're sidechaining them to your main output, is what you're saying.
Yep. So that way, it'll basically turn down this ladder where we go.
I just hung some of these cheapy little Behringer C2s.
Yeah, they're essentially the same thing. At some point, I want to fly them.
They're not flown?
Nope, they're literally on the edge of the stage right by our...
okay. I ended up side-chaining ours to our drum submix, because that way when the drummers aren't playing, like when there's not drums, usually it's typically like a quieter moment.
Yeah,
of like,
that's fair.
Vocals only. I hadn't really thought about using the main output. That's interesting too. I'm still trying to play with that and like figure out what ratio and all that stuff to do that on. But I think that's a good solution though for most people, because it is tough. Like it can get really overbearing quickly. It's like finding that balance that works.
Yeah, it can get really muddy and harsh, and especially with, getting applause and, feedback from the audience. It's a lot of high end energy, but it can also get really muddy and really gross ending if you have too much of it at a certain time and whatnot. But
all right, last thing I want to ask you about is your LED wall. As I'm upgrading ours this next year, placement of the LED wall. Most people are doing head to toe, put it all the way down by the floor. That looks like what you guys have done on your back wall, essentially. Like, how far off the floor is it?
It's probably less than 6 inches. There's basically a header panel. Like, if you wanted to fly them, you could put it on the top, but it's on the bottom to give structural rigidity and then some legs. So it's probably less than 6 inches, maybe 4 or 5.
So the thing I go back and forth on is like, do I want it all the way to the floor, or do I want it just above head and then do some other type of treatment underneath? Because then you end up having to design your content where it's above people's heads, right? Like lyrics and all that stuff. Do you guys, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, do you just like the vibe of having the full graphics behind everybody?
Yeah, so we definitely have to be intentional about anything we do. And anything with an LED wall, you have to kind of just be aware of and whatnot. So, yeah, ours, I wasn't here for any of these real big decisions just because that kind of happened before. Sorry, that's my son playing downstairs if you hear him. But, yeah, so I think the thing I like is it kind of, like you said, it's like a head-to-toe thing. So that way you're not getting, at his knees. It's not like nothing. Obviously, for like a tight shot like that, who cares? Like, nobody's seeing his. So, yeah, I mean, it's half a dozen six of another. Our biggest issue, and it's part of the way we've got it set up, especially with the auxiliary panels, how the content is getting there and getting laid out is a little complicated right now just because everything is ran from ProPresenter. So we just bought a license to Resolume Arena. So in the next 6 months, we're going to be running our LED wall stuff from Resolume, just because Resolume can just do everything. Can do a lot of things to make LED wall layouts a lot easier. Like right now, the LED wall content, I'm having to throw in Premiere Pro and doing some scaling and stretching and whatnot to make sure, because essentially with the auxiliary panels, it's essentially a triple wide setup. So I've got triple wide content, and then it's hole punching where the panels actually are in space. So that way for landscapes and whatnot, it's kind of a fluid thing.
So you're not using like masks in ProPresenter. You're actually creating the actual video file with the holes punched in it.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Yeah, and it's fine. It's just one of those things where we just have to be very methodical about all stuff on the front end. But with Resolume, you can do all of that stuff live. You can hand it, triple wide content or 16:9 content, and you can scale it and blur it and, do a bunch of stuff to it live. And then you can also do video effects stuff, like if you wanted to, have live video effects on a live camera, you can also do that hypothetically too. So. Yeah.
Biggest selling point of Waves LV1. I've considered we're upgrading our stuff. We're probably just going to stick with like Behringer Wing. We don't have enough money to go full out. But I was considering Waves LV1 versus like the Allen and Heath Avantis. What do you like about the LV1?
Yeah, again, I didn't have a say in any of it, but I love it. It's super awesome. It's super flexible. The in-ear mixing is all done on the board through people's phones. It's super flexible, and it's definitely a thing where it can be used 16 different ways. We're using it for front of house. If at some point I would love to eventually maybe get a D Live kind of thing, but that would be an awesome either monitor mixer or a dedicated broadcast kind of setup as well. So it scales with you really well too from a channel out perspective. I know the Wing does it too, but like stereo, you can make everything stereo. Every bus, every input, every output can be stereo basically. So that way you're not having to eat up channels a bunch. It scales with you a lot too, so you can get a really small setup and then just keep on adding onto it smaller stage boxes and license for the software itself. And the plugins are super sweet. It fixes a lot of issues we're having. So we're running like Waves Tune, for example, and then with the electric drums with the Torque plugin. Waves makes a Torque plugin that basically you make a not super great sounding drum or anything fuller and richer and whatnot. So I cannot speak more highly of the Wing, or not the Wing, Waves LV1. The one thing I don't like is it doesn't do crossfades between scenes. So it definitely limits you as far as when you can change scenes, and you have to be very methodical with that. But yeah.
With the tuning, are you just leaving it in chromatic, or are you doing key changes on the fly, pre-programmed?
Yeah, 98% of the time for like a normal weekend, we run one scene a song, and then that handles the tuning changes. And then we've got a once a month first Wednesday service that is kind of run and gun kind of thing. So I'm running either bypassing totally or running as whatever key they're in. For Christmas Eve, I didn't actually run. Most of the time I'm running front of house and audio stuff, but I had a volunteer run it, which was super awesome from just not having my hands in the cookie jar kind of thing, and just having more capacity for other things. But so we did part and part. We bypassed it some or leave it on chromatic partially for Christmas Eve, because there's a few songs that had a key change, and then if you are not super synchronous with your you changing the key, it can definitely make a good situation worse for sure. But
yeah, man, the risk reward for me, I still haven't gone there yet, so we'll see.
Yeah,
have you had any crazy flukes?
Yeah, we definitely have. One of our vocalists, actually, it happened to her, and then she posted it on TikTok, and then it blew up. So we're not helping the dialogue there any. But at the end of the day, all these things are tools, and you use the tools wisely and in the parameters, and you'll be fine. And it's there to fix things, not hurt things. So we've got basically a tune kill button, so it'll bypass that on a button press. So if we're, they're coming back in, I've got no idea what key they're in, I can just kill it, and that way we're not making them look, like they're in the wrong and whatnot. But it's also really fun to mess with if you're ever bored with it, and you're doing like virtual sound check, changing it to the absolute wrong key. Like if you're just having a bad day, it'll just make you like instantly have a smile on your face, because it can just do some really wacky stuff and make it sound hilarious. But
that's amazing. Very cool. Well, honestly, it looks like you guys are crushing it. I think just from watching your multi-view here, it looks like your volunteers are doing great. I mean, all the stuff looks pretty sweet. So if we want to watch more of your services and stuff, how do we find your church?
Yeah, our website is reallifechurch.org with one L. That's been a fun thing. My name's also spelled with one L, so nothing's ever spelled right. And then we're also on YouTube, so if you just look up Real Life Church, we're the orange R probably on most things. So that way, all of our live streams, we usually keep at least the most recent one up. I'm a big fan of that from an outside perspective. I love just being able to see what a full service is like versus just the sermon or, nothing at all kind of thing. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, dude, thanks for submitting and just getting to chat. And really just break down what you guys are doing there. It's cool to see how you're implementing everything, and honestly, it looks great. So props.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for everything you do. You are an absolute blessing to me and countless other people, I'm sure, through YouTube and everything you do. So I'm super appreciative.
Well, you're a good encouragement, man. All right, you guys, give Will a shout out there. Will with 1L in the chat today, and we'll move on to the next live stream. Thanks, Will.
Hey, no problem. Thank you.
All right, see ya. All right, guys. That was a blast. You guys, seriously, say thank you to Will in the chat. That was super enlightening, honestly, just to see how they're implementing all the technology that they're using at Real Life Church. So, and they're on a different scale than a lot of us, right? I mean, running in the thousands on weekends and having all those tools at their disposal, but they're doing it in a great way. And so if you guys want to check them out, that was Real Life Church with 1L. Thanks, Will, for hopping on the chat. All right, we're going to get over to Sample Stuff's live stream. It was Rivers Crossing. Now, I would love it, Sample Stuff, if you're still on today, if you can join us live, that'd be great so we can chat about it. If not, no big deal. I'll hop over there and grab your link, and then we'll jump into it. So, is there any other comments that I'm missing? Oh, Flannel Night in the house. Breakfast break. Golly, I forget where you're at. It's 10:47 here, so you must be West Coast. All right. Let me pull up Rivers Crossing, and then we'll jump into that, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys. And yes, I know this image has a typo in it. It's so you'll look at the stuff, right? That's one of those deals that designers are doing now. All right, guys, we're back, and I've got Rivers Crossing stuff pulled up here from Bobby. Bobby, thanks for submitting. He says that they are running some pretty good stuff here. They've got 5 C300 Mark IIIs, right? Yeah, Mark IIIs. Then a couple of Panasonic P2s on cheap sliders, running a Blackmagic Constellation, Pro 7 Resolume for LED walls and video output, sync with side screens. And they're mixing their broadcast audio through Logic. The current battle is limited light in their stage in the room, a shallow stage, slow glass on their cameras, and just trying to get more depth to help with the crispiness of the images. Always, right? We'll look at, okay, he designated here on where to look, so we'll go to that mark, and we'll just look at cameras, angles, coloring of them. C300s, 5 of them, so the image should be pretty solid on those. Let's jump into Rivers Crossing here. All right. He said 26 or so. And we'll pull that full volume.
Since we've no place
Pretty sure that's what she said. Let it snow, 2630. That is not miraculous. Okay, let's go back here. I like the slider shots. Coloring looks really good on those C300. astronomical LED wall stuff. There we go. I love that shot. Is that somebody walking, or is that a slider of some sort? Like a rhythm track or something? I really like the pacing of the switching. I'm just kind of listening to some of the panning stuff.
Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye, oh, come
Dana Dolly,
ye
manual push.
to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of
It is a really good audio mix. So I wonder what you're doing in Logic to kind of treat it a little bit. You're doing tuning, certain plugins. I will say that Dana Dolly shot looks a little dark. Gotta love Christmas trees in the background of the shots, man. Always. Snare? Snare sounds good. I don't really hear any tracks. I'm curious if you're running tracks. Love that shot. Down the line. Group shot. Yeah, drum shot's a little dark. I like that the bass guitar has some clarity. I'm not hearing the choir as much, but that's okay. Building it up, making the pacing quicker. Hit it. Oh, you got to hit it on the beat there. I wish on your Dana Dolly shot you could include some zooming. That would take it to the next level. To pan and zoom while being pushed. If it's being pushed, you know, do you have that ability? I love the exposure there. The coloring looks really great on everybody's faces. A little dark on these backline shots, but that's okay. Hey, looky there. Everybody makes mistakes. Got the mini Moog there. Audio mix does sound really good. You know, you're saying you need faster glass, but honestly, it looks really good. Curious which shots you're not really happy with. It does look a little dark on these dolly shots to me. You got some good talent, man. Wow. I'm turning back up a little bit here for this. Let's listen a little more. Love the hands shot. I wish your crowd had a little bit more light on it. That would be helpful if you had some down light on them somehow, you know, where there's a little definition on the silhouettes. Also, violin I thought was a harmonica at first, so I'm not sure how that was being mic'd. Until I saw it, I thought somebody was playing the harmonica.
Christmas at Rivers Crossing. Why don't you take a minute, turn around, welcome somebody. Us in Deer Park.
Preach shot looks great.
Our
What lens are you using for your tight shot there on the C300? Is this like a Sigma 150 to 600, or I'm curious what these two shots for Preach are with those C300s.
This little thing every year, once a year, called the Christmas offering.
Yeah, your backdrop, stage design, all that stuff looked great, man. Super solid. Yeah, we need crowd wash so bad. Yeah, I mean, it would maybe just help give a little more definition to the shots and it not just be a black void. You can kind of see the silhouettes of people. But I did ask earlier, are you guys using tracks during your worship set? Because if so, I didn't really hear them, which is that's a good thing, right? Like that I wasn't like, oh, they're obviously using tracks. You have a great band, great talented vocalists. Not saying you need them. I was just curious. I like that you're utilizing the dolly still during the preaching, and it looks really good. Is there anything else that we can pick on? You guys see or hear anything else that you would make suggestions about? How do you come out of the intro here? Oh, that's the intro. I see what you're saying. Oh, you started it before the countdown ended. Interesting. I like that little do-do-do-do-do-do. That's cool. The LED stuff that's around each screen. That's pretty sweet. I got them dueling. Of course, he's got one headphone out. Very starry night backdrop. That's cool. that'll cut your light even more. Drums sound really good. For the lighting programming, are you syncing that to MIDI or? Okay. That was pretty cool, that transition. Oh, come on.
Welcome to Christmas at Rivers Crossing. Won't you stand with us and join us in worship?
All right. Last question is about these vocalists. Are they all just on 58s that are actually hardwired SM58s, so that way you can actually dial them in and out of the mix with ease? I mean, it's a great solution if you only got 15 people or so and you have that ability. Is it a sub mixer or something? Yeah, it was really good. Very good. Awesome. You guys are killing it, man. Hopefully we gave you a little bit of some suggestions there that are helpful. Let's see. We had to loom a snake of 58s. They had to unclip when they left the stage so we could pull the loom. How were they monitoring? Did they all have headphones, or were there floor wedges there for them? That's the next battle with a choir, right? Well, if they're all in 58s, there's really no reason to have them in the tracks as well, because you could dial them in and out that way. But I'm curious how you're monitoring. What do you guys think of the live stream quality today? Like I said, I'm using a new program called EVMux. It's all through Chrome. It's like Restream or StreamYard. It's a little finicky for me having to get around it, rather than like it's encoding through EVMux to YouTube. So this camera shot and audio is coming through my Blackmagic Extreme, and then that's just going into my MacBook, and then all the audio is just being pulled from a Chrome tab. So for the audio, for you guys to hear it, it has to be through a connected Chrome tab. It can't be a different window, just screen share. So I often wonder, like, is the quality going to be as good doing that, rather than just having everything come to me and then going into the ATEM and then hard encoding from the ATEM to YouTube? But this is a lot easier for doing the live calls, because before I had a separate MacBook running Video Ninja that was outputting, and then had to go into the Extreme, and then I was doing super sources to crop the videos and do all that jazz. So And then I just like am doing everything through EVMux this time. There was some choppiness on the video playback when you would put up the CGF comments. Interesting. Okay. So it's like it didn't like that as much. Good to know. Final output looks lower to me. A little more compressed. Okay. Yeah, I'll go back and compare it afterwards. EVMux just reached out to me and wanted me to try it out. They have like a built-in Bible app in here that I think if your pastor does maybe live teaching, live streams, where I think of BibleThinker.org. What's his name? Mike Winger. Is that his name? He's got hundreds of thousands of YouTube subscribers. But just being able to easily pull in scriptures on the fly, they've got that built in to the software. Well, I don't know if it's software, it's webware. I don't know what that's called. But so that's a little interesting. Just trying it out today. It is kind of fun. I mean, it's got all the sound effects and built-in stuff. I am just using a Stream Deck here to go between like these transitions. Those are just web.m transition things to where I can go, to these different layouts that I've pre-built. And it's kind of easy, but not easy at the same time. You guys ever get that vibe of like, you want to try new technology, but at the same time, what you're using isn't like necessarily broken, and the cost of the time to learn that other new thing, the value of that new technology has to solve a problem for you that is greater than the cost of the time that it's going to take. Or the improvement that it's going to make is going to make that much of a difference that it's worth it. Sometimes it's just not worth it, right? It's like, the old adage of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I kind of get that sometimes, because before you know it, you spend a week dialing in your live stream on some new software and working on plugins, and then it's worse than it was before you just did a post-fader bus mix. So, yeah, there's that. Well, I would love to just do a little Ask Me Anything session here for just a little bit. I've got 7 other submissions that we can dive into here for live stream reviews. But I'd love just to chat with you guys. Is there any technology stuff that you're curious about? Upgrades you're looking to make? Just any random questions for me. I would love to chat with you for just a minute here. I do have, let's see here. Hope of the City Church would be next. And then we got Faith Bible Church, Real Life Church, Unionville Alliance, Great Commission Presbyterian, CenterPoint Church, Friendship Missionary Baptist Church, A City of Grace. That's a long name. And Tehachapi Vineyard Church that have all submitted. And we can get to those here in just a little bit. What time is it? We've been going for about an hour here. You guys can chime in and help with this. What is the easiest way to get clear sound? And then the follow up here, we're using an X32 plugged into our ATEM. Maybe just clarify for me, is the clear sound like your broadcast doesn't sound as good as it does in the room? What is it? Are you having noise on the line going into the ATEM? Is it overdriven? Kind of what are your situation there? Because the easiest way to get clear sound is going to be signal to noise ratio, eliminating factors like the source. So how you're miking things is going to be a large part of that. For instance, if you have a pulpit mic that is a condenser mic and people are just standing way far back from it, and it's kind of picking up a lot of the room and everything like that, and you have to boost the gain, then your noise floor comes up. But if you have dynamic mics like they did on that choir just a minute ago, where everybody's holding an SM58, that's going to help your signal to noise ratio. And here's a follow-up. It sounds like it blares out when turned up. Okay, so it's overdriving your ATEM. What kind of ATEM are you going into? How is it going out of the X32? Like these ATEM Mini Extremes, that have just a 1/8 inch input for the microphone. Sometimes you have to go in and change it from a mic input to a line input on the settings, depending on how you're going out of the X32. So if you're just going out of maybe some buses and creating a stereo bus out of the XLR outputs to an 1/8 inch cable, you might have to tweak that. One other way that you could maybe do it is go out of the RCA outputs of the X32, and that would be balanced, right guys? Yeah. And you could try that. So RCA to 1/8 inch. If you have one of those cables laying around, I'm sure we all had those back in the day. You could try that. And then my next question would be, are you previewing the audio from the ATEM before hitting your encoding? And just to make sure, one way you could also throw a precision limiter on your final output bus mix from the X32 to maybe help with that if it's overdriving. That's usually what I'm doing to like bring up the signal. But if things are overdriving and not knowing how you're doing your broadcast mix, gain structure and things like that could be the issue. Yeah, some good comments here in the live stream comments. So, yeah, it can be interesting, like figuring out in the chain where something is actually going wrong with those kinds of things. So just work your way backwards and then see where it's messing up and then go forwards from there. Obviously, you can always solo out your bus mix on an X32 to see how it sounds before it hits your ATEM. Anybody using looks transitions in ProPresenter 7 that came out? 7.15, I just haven't had time to mess with it, but that should be a big benefit for a lot of us that are utilizing looks, and that old annoyance of like it just popping in. Let's see here.
14 here at Renewed Vision. And today, I'm excited to announce.
I mean, it's been a minute since this came out. It was a month ago. But looks transitions should be a good thing, right?
Going to our looks window and selecting our preset and changing the transition time at the bottom of the window to whatever you want. So in this example, I'm putting together this week's service. At this part of the playlist, I'd like to swap my worship look for a full screen video. I'll go down here and change the transition from 0 seconds, which should be a hard cut, to a dissolve of 3 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Now when we reach the end of the last worship song, we simply select a video in the playlist, and the result is a smooth, seamless transition from one look to the next. It makes a tremendous difference.
I wonder if
Every week, we're
audio
releasing
transitions
over
as
100 new
well.
assets on Pro content, but our team has been working.
Yeah, looks transitions. I need to probably play with those because we use looks a lot to go in between, different elements in our service, since we're not using ProPresenter to encode or anything like that, but we are using it to handle a lot of the stuff. Will says they use looks heavily and haven't pulled the trigger on updating to the new version that is looks transitions, but I'm definitely excited to. FamTV, looks transitions are a lifesaver for us. We assign looks to every slide. Nice. Yeah, we assign looks to every slide almost as well, as far as the first slide of a presentation or anytime we need to change a lower third or something like that. I don't know if I'd put them on every slide. But yeah, transitions will help us a lot. Ivan, what cam and lens are you using right now? So this is the Canon RP, which is the cheapest full frame Canon has to offer, with the old EF 85mm 1.8. It's at ISO 640, 2997, and I've just got a couple lights here in my office. I had to actually dial in a different setup for the picture profile on it. had to go really neutral and lower the contrast a lot, because when you go USB-C out of your ATEM into your computer to use it as a webcam kind of idea. So like, since I'm using EVMux, I have to do that with the USB-C of the ATEM. It adds a lot of contrast to the image. And so like all the blacks in my image were just like crushed. And so I had to go in, put it on the neutral profile, and then lower the contrast all the way down, and up the saturation like 2. And then the contrast was about the same. And anyways, it's still a little more contrasty than I usually have it. But yeah, the RP, honestly, I've had this for a couple years now, or ever since it came out. For the price, like, it's not a great camera, but if you want a full frame look, it's the cheapest way that I found to get it. You can make it work. It does not have very good dynamic range. Just sitting it next to my GH5, even like the GH5 always looks a lot better. And I'm sure the G9 Mark II or the GH6 would blow it away. Or, you know, any of the Sony A7S3s, or even Canon's, you know, bigger, better line is even better now. I think they have a new version of the RP that's like is it the R3 maybe? That supposedly is a little bit better for not that much more money. So, yeah, that's the cheapest way I've found to get into full frame. FamTV has a question here. Where it's most notable is during the... Oh, he's just saying something. When you put a sermon title slide in and have a look, for that set in the beginning and then flow through script slides. That makes sense. Yeah. So it transitions between there if you're using looks to have one thing on screens in-house and then lower thirds that are different. Yeah. Oh, I thought your church was strictly Lumix line. So I don't use this Canon RP in our worship service. Everything in there is Lumix. It's all Panasonic G85, GH5, G7s, GH4, and a DVX 200, and a couple of, one ZV-E1 that we have still set up. So this is just my YouTube camera that I use to shoot videos, because the thing about the Lumix line is autofocus is crap. Now, I've toyed with the S5 Mark II going that way, maybe purchasing one before the end of the year, but I don't think, I just have way too much glass that's either Canon or Micro Four Thirds, so I'd really have to invest in glass. But the Canon RP has pretty good autofocus, even doing a talking head like this, if I lean forward and lean back, it's pretty good. Now, if I turn my hat around, sometimes it wants to, see, that's kind of losing me a little bit. It doesn't want to focus on my eyes, and then sometimes it'll go back there. Let's see. Of course, now it's going to do it pretty good, but yeah, anyways. So that's honestly, people always joke that if I'm not wearing a hat, sometimes it's like, why aren't you wearing a hat? I wear a hat almost every day, but for shooting videos, I almost always turn it around just so that lighting, it doesn't have shadows in my eyes. Throughout the day, I'm wearing it normally. So, anyways. Yeah, here's another good solution for that. You use two machines and link them over the network, and then the second machine for Resolume. Anyways, okay, yeah. And I know people used to do that a lot with Pro 6, and then Pro 7 came out and didn't have that ability, and then now it does again. I've just had it for a while to be able to do that. Honestly, I just find using our Mac Studio just to do everything has been pretty good. All right, let's dive into another live stream review. I do see somebody has joined in on the guest call in, but I don't see your video or microphone. So if you want to hop in and let me know in the chat who you are, because currently it says test, and we're not going to bring test online. So, all right, our next one up is Hope of the City Church. Let me pull up their stuff here. Ricky Davina. not much information here. They use an ATEM Mini Extreme and Blackmagic Pocket 4Ks, but they want the most help on the audio mix. So let's pull them up here, and we can do that together as a group. Audio. Let's go to their live. Just gonna pull it up here. Streamed 4 days ago. All right. Hope of the City Church. Audio mix. First of all, I love how your worship team is really worshiping. Like, you can tell they're sold out to this. You got your guitarists in the back, singing along. Your vocalists are really leading with passion. I love that. Audio wise, I think some things you can tweak is the drums for sure. They're in a cage, but I'm not hearing much direct drum sound. And I'm curious how you're actually doing your broadcast mix, because to me it kind of sounds like maybe just your main mix is being sent back out, because it's very vocal heavy. The vocals are pretty dry and out front, and so if you could back those back a little bit, add more reverb to them, gel those vocals together a little bit more. I'm also curious on why we're doing iMag on the screen above. How big this space is. I haven't seen how big the space is, but it seems unnecessary to me, especially if you're doing shots like that where the person actually is not bigger on the screen than they are in the room. A lot of times that just seems unnecessary to me. I do like the way you're doing the lower thirds, with the angled lines. I mean, that's just whatever your taste is there. But your Pocket 4Ks, I feel like you could get more out of them. I'm thinking your key light is not the best key lights. Just because skin colors are looking a little different on different people. And so white balance even maybe could be adjusted between each camera to make them a little more accurate. And just the shadows I'm seeing on people going right to the back, it looks like maybe your key lights are coming right like this, so it might be low ceilings, but you want them at a 45-degree at least angle to come down, so that way it's not just blasting them straight from the front. But even that girl, it looks like maybe RGB lights are lighting her on the left there. Let's listen to the audio mix a little bit more. Yeah, that dude is tall. Let's listen a little bit more. I'll turn it back up here.
Everybody come on, man, look to your neighbor and sing this song. Yeah. All right. Look to your neighbor and tell him this. Hey, go tell it, go tell it. Tell him. Go tell it, go tell it. Everybody, come on. Go tell it, go tell it. Go tell it, go tell it. Go tell it.
All right, Ricky, thanks for submitting, man. I think you got a lot of good stuff going on there, and I think you can take it to the next level pretty easily by just tweaking some of that stuff. So thank you for submitting. All right, guys. You ready to move on to the next one? You got anything else in the comments here? Let me check it out. Lots of good stuff. All right, Ricky, thanks for submitting. Let's go on to our next one here. Faith Bible Church, Landon Hunter. We have 3 PTZ Sony cameras, mixes off the D-Live S7000, 2 ambient mics, a Ross Carbonite switcher. They use Resi and Subsplash, and he would like the most help on the audio mix. So that's good. We can help him out with that. Give him our opinion at least. Like I always say, you can take what I have to offer and wad it up and throw it in the trash if you want to. I'm just a guy. All right, let's get on to it.
That mourns in lonely exile here, until the Son of God appear.
Nice piano.
Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O
Dark in the piano there.
come thou day spring, come and cheer.
A little loud on the piano there.
By thine advent here, disperse the gloomy clouds.
It's a good looking shot. Ah, they caught you.
And death's dark shadows put to flight. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O
Piano just seems too out front to me.
Oh, come, desire of nations bind, all peoples in one heart and mind.
Also, your color wash on people seems to be wrapping around their faces a little too much for my liking. And your drummer looked like a Smurf.
Fill the whole earth with heaven's peace.
The band sounds tight though.
Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall
Getting a lot of hi-hat.
shall come to thee, O Israel.
Yeah, that'd be a good solution. That way when she's playing lightly, it's still there, but then it does bring it down whenever she's really getting into it. I agree.
Isaiah,
Okay. Yeah, that's Faith Bible Church. I mean, the band sounded really tight. It sounded like you guys have got a lot of good stuff going on there. Mix-wise, yeah, it just sounded like piano was a little out front. Drums sounded maybe a little muddy, little much on the hi-hats. That's one song, 1 minute that we listened to. So I know things change all the time. Honestly, I want to encourage you. It sounded really good. The band sounded like everybody was dialed in pretty well. So, yeah. Hey, here's a good question that I wanted to kind of dive into. Blackmagic Micro Studio Camera 4K G2 rigged out as a lightweight roaming camera. Terrible idea, or maybe just genius? So, the Blackmagic Micro Studio Camera 4K G2 as a roaming camera. So you're saying rig it up onto a Ronin S2. Let's look at it. So it's about $1,000 for just the body. Let's go to B&H. I feel like they have the most pictures sometimes. It's not even out yet. New release coming soon. Actually, I didn't want to do that. So it has SDI in, SDI out that's mini. So you got those little mini ones. That's good. That's a bonus because it's a locking connector, which is cool. You're not going to have any stabilization on this, so you're going to depend on the stabilization of the Ronin or whatever you're throwing it on. You are going to need to mount a little monitor, either off the side of the handle of the Ronin or maybe off this quarter 20. And then does it use Sony batteries? 13 stop dynamic range. I think it's basically the same thing as their pockets. I was just curious about the battery life. I think I could be a good solution. I'm happy with our GH5s on there. It's just all built in. You don't have to worry about cables connecting monitors and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, it's MFT, so it's like you're still going to use the same type of lenses as you would with like a GH5, and you can get those for cheaper. So really the benefits of using this would be the locking SDI and battery. You can use 12 volt DC, or yeah, it looks like LP E6 compatible batteries. You can even use an adapter to connect to V-mount batteries. So if you're a church who does multiple services or really long services, could you guys not see any of that? What the heck? Oh, it opened a new tab. Oh, glory. Sorry, guys. That's one of the downfalls of this EV Mux thing is like, I can only see what I'm actually looking at. And so when I went back here, it wasn't even showing it. Glory. Well, you heard my thoughts at least. Screen share is frozen. It wasn't frozen. It just opened B&H in a new tab, and that tab wasn't being shared. So, yeah. I guess I'm learning things about the software. That's great. There's some debate in here about what tuning stuff to use. I've used Waves and Antares. If you want to get crispier, like quicker, auto-tune. The Antares does that. Waves is more subtle. I mean, you can even dialing it in all the way, at least in my experience, is not as like Cher T-Pain-ish. Because there was one song we actually wanted that, and we used Antares for that. Just cranked, and it was like very jumpy. And so waves seem subtler, but I also feel like I get more mistakes with waves. I don't have that much experience using them though, because we don't do it. I've just, on some remixes, I've thrown it in Logic sessions and played with it, so I'm probably not the guy to be talking about it, so I'll stop. Just trying to make a smaller form factor rig that's not a Komodo. Yeah. I mean, I would go, if you want smaller but still cinematic, I would be looking more at like Panasonic S5 IIs or Sony FX3s. That might be what I would go with, because I think you said you had an FX6 in the mix. So let's try this again. If I'm here, how much is an FX3? Yeah, it's a lot more money, and you're going to be buying glass for it. You know, that's why I like the GH5s, just because they have stabilization on the sensor and on the lenses, and combined with a gimbal. Like, for instance, our stage camera guys don't even use a gimbal. Like, they just handhold the GH5, and the sensor and lens stabilization combined are good enough to not have to have that, you know. And it's kind of that handheldish look without micro jitters, and so that's been good for us. And so, yeah, I mean, you could do that. I just don't know. It just depends on like what your main value is. I don't know that the Studio 4K Pocket thing is going to have like, you're not going to have Komodo like dynamic range and things like that. One thing I do want to play with is I recently got a GH5 with Vlog, and I'm curious, and let me know in the chat if you think this would be a helpful thing. If I use Vlog as the main picture profile, which is the most dynamic range, but then output with a LUT on the GH5 or whatever it's called, I forget how they the terminology there, will it have a better picture doing that than it would be to use the natural profile or the standard profile? Is Vlog out of the HDMI using a LUT actually going to take advantage of more dynamic range? And so that's one test that I think I might want to do. If you're a Panasonic, you know, if you've been following me and you've gotten some cameras, that might be interesting to you. You know, GH4s, G85s, they don't have Vlog and log formats, but might be an interesting test. You'll have more noise with Vlog in the LUT. Okay. Yeah, I know they say, and that's part of the problem, is that you usually want to overexpose by a stop or two with Vlog in any of the logs, as far as like C-Log and the ones that I've heard, which means, yeah, your ISO is going to have to be cranked more, introduce more noise. So thank you, Jake. That's a good reminder. Okay, let's look at another church's live stream here. Let me delete Faith Bibles so I don't accidentally grab theirs. There's Will's. We did yours earlier. Let's see. All right, here is CenterPoint Church, Chris McCabe. Chris, if you're there in the chat, I'd love to have you jump on and do a live call with me. There's a link in the description where you can do that. And if you can't, at least let us know you're there so we can ask you questions. And if you are somebody who submitted your live stream for review and you're here watching live, let me know in the chat. Even if you don't super chat, I'd rather review people's who are actually here watching live with us so I can ask you questions as we go than people that aren't watching live. Sorry, that's just the way it is. Let me pull this up though. For Chris, CenterPoint Church, New Hampshire. And we'll find one of their most recent live streams here. All right.
Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. They start to hear words of good cheer from everywhere.
Is it really sibilant to you guys?
Oh, how they pound, raising the sound, o'er hill and dale, telling the tale. Gayly they ring while people sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Merry Christmas.
Seems really compressed, really close to overdriven.
Christmas is here, bringing good cheer to young and old, meek and the bold. They start to hear words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Oh, how they pound, raising the sound, o'er hill and dale, telling the tale. Oh, let them ring, come, let us sing songs of good cheer. Christmas is here. Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas.
Kick almost seems overdriven, real punchy.
Every bell ringing, great joy they are bringing. Our voices are singing. Christmas is here. Christmas
almost like the crowd mics are too loud.
Great joy they are bringing. Our voices are singing. Christmas is here. Christmas is here. Every bell ringing, great joy they are bringing. Our voices are singing. Words of good cheer from everywhere, filling the air. Christmas is here, hark how the bells.
There you go.
Sweet silver bells. Christmas is here. Christmas is here. Hark how the bells. Sweet silver bells. Christmas is here. Christmas is here.
The drummer's in the dark back there. Yeah, I can't hear the bass guitar. The lead player looks like he's killing his hair. Yeah, it's a lot of room mic, isn't it? You know, framing wise, he's off to the side, kind of out of focus a little bit there. Yeah, we're in HD. That's a nice looking shot. Oh, we're in autofocus. Got the Christmas lights pulsing there. Great looking shot though. He's a little purpley maybe. It looks like the key light that's lighting him is blue. You can see on the tree behind. Shadow. Maybe not. Maybe that's a wall wash. Just seems weird the other wall wash is all orange, but he's... Both the front guys look a little bluish. Also, I wouldn't stay on this shot as long as you are. I would only bail to that one when you need to. It's great. yeah, I mean, that's your best shot. So I would try to hone in on more stuff like that. Have a person actually running stuff. Looks like somebody is, because here it's backed out a little bit. We haven't had any close-ups of any instrumentalists, anything like that. Struggle whenever, you know, you light somebody like that just subtly in the room and it's a little dark on stream. Just got to make the best that you can. But yeah, white balance looks a little weird here with whatever key light you are using. Looks like we did have another camera over here. Yeah, it just seems like maybe whatever you're doing to your final mix before it hits the board is really squashing down stuff and overdriving it. All right, there's some thoughts. Hopefully you guys jumped in the chat and put some stuff there. Yeah, if that's how they're doing it, that could be the issue. The ARRI LUTs have been so many for skin tones on our cameras. We loaded it on all our cameras for broadcast. Okay. Switch to cut instead of fades. Amen. All day, baby. All right. Chris, thank you for submitting. Well, we got 13 minutes. Let's just chat a little bit. You guys asked me something. I'm tired of reviewing live streams. You know what? We'll do one more. But you guys throw some questions in the chat there. We'll look at Jeffries from Tehachapi Vineyard Church. I met him at the Churchfront Conference, actually, which was fun. Him and his wife there. So let's pull theirs up and see how things are going for them. I remember this. Unless I'm crazy and thinking of the wrong person, but I'm pretty sure that's the truth. All right. I love the way they do their intro and middle of service
something
live stream
and that
host.
You're tuning in. But before the service gets too far into,
White
grab
balance
a
is a little
candle,
weird here.
will you? Inside of your house and something to light it with, because we're going to be doing
in Tehachapi. Merry Christmas.
All right, friends. I want to invite you to stand if you're able to.
How are we getting
Hello to our
feedback
friends
on
online as well. We're so glad you're with us on this Christmas Eve.
what's going on with that?
We've come to worship. We've come to adore Him. So God, we love you and we love our. Oh, with
the candles. I like that slide.
Oh, ye faithful, joyful and
Try to switch before it hits the end and goes back the other way.
Oh, come ye,
blue.
come ye to bed.
I like the vocal effects. Handheld candles.
Come and behold Him.
I feel like there's a little micro jittery stuff going on there. Also, why are we focusing on this guy? He's not even playing right there. Vocal sound, the effects were really nice on there. It's just not super smooth on the walk. I wonder if you're on a overexposed maybe. Big fat snare drum. You know, you being underneath there the whole time pushes this all up, which makes it higher in the frame. I wish this was all lower in the frame. I just feel like the cameras are not all white balanced to the same thing. This one seems a lot warmer. I do love that shot right there. I like that your drummer is lit up though in the cage. Yeah, handheld over there just seems a little micro jittery. So I'm not sure what you're using, Jeffrey. They've got Blackmagic Pocket 4Ks, a GoPro on the drums, and then 2 X32s, one for front of house, one for live stream. Yeah, I feel like the Pocket 4Ks, you should be able to, like, that's good exposure right there, good white balance. But then your front one just doesn't match, so you should be able to dial those all in the same. Let's listen just a little bit more. Jesus, to thee be all glory. Do hear little crowd mics there, that's nice. Not a lot, just a little on these down parts. You know, your drums are in a cage, and I feel like they could be a lot more punchy. That snare should be like really present. Get a lens, stabilize, get a monopod maybe for them to put things on where they can walk around still. I love the framing of that where you can see the people behind, but the GoPro's white balance is just, you know, maybe even just put it on auto. Might be even better. Or maybe it is on auto. I don't know. Band sounds good though. I like this arrangement too. Songs from the Indigo Room, Simpleville Music. Is that really the arrangement? Because I like it. Yeah. All right. We did it. We reviewed a bunch. I want to say thank you to all you guys hanging in with me today. Oh. No. I'm confused now. Sorry, just reading the comments, spacing out there for a moment. Oh, you know, it's been a great year. And I really do want to say thank you to each one of my subscribers and those of you here on the live stream today. You don't know how much of a blessing it has been in my life just to get to serve you and serve the church this way. It's a lot of work to put out the videos and really document the journey that I'm doing here at my church as the worship and media arts pastor. And I hope that really is helpful, inspiring, encouraging to you. And that, you know, in 2024, I'm looking forward to sharing a lot more, and just whatever God takes us for a ride on, I'll try to bring you guys with me. You know, we'll be moving out of our worship center after Easter, it looks like, and moving into our smaller venue for a good bit. And so that'll, I'm sure, come with lots of challenges and interesting things. Working with our integrator on the design of the new space and remodel. I've got a lot of thoughts to share about that and that journey, and maybe just some tips I can give to those of you who are about to undertake a small or a big venture like that. Yeah, and then get to just do some other cool stuff that I'll share along the way. So, super appreciate you, Rylan. You're a real one. Hope to give you a solid high five one day. Haha. Amen. There you go. Come on down to Green Country. We'll go get a burger and a Dr. Pepper and hang out. I've had lots of you guys actually come down and do that and just tour the church and see how we're doing things and get to share what you're doing in your ministry. So that's always fun too. But we've been on this thing for 2 hours. I really appreciate all of you guys hanging out. Those of you that called in, that was fun. And let's do it again in January. I think I missed 1 month this year of doing these live stream reviews, and it's always a good time. So try to keep doing this. And I've got some other really cool stuff that is just on the horizon. I'm talking about some courses that you guys could utilize for your ministries that would be a blessing to me for you guys to use, and be able to share and document some stuff for your video ministries that hopefully you can use to keep doing great things for God's glory, because that's what it's all about. So I'm going to click the end broadcast button in EVMux, and we're going to see if it actually takes me offline in YouTube. All right, guys, have a great rest of the year. We'll see you in 2024.